Hello and welcome to the second bonus episode of the Crimson Misery podcast. My name is Will Rainbolt, and if you are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can rate the show 5 stars, do whatever you will. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment. I have had enough of people who are tweeting at recruits, who are tweeting 18-year-olds trying to get to sway them to go to your school and making their lives a living hell, essentially. These are kids in high school. High school's not easy, and they are trying to make a decision that would best suit their playing style, their lifestyle, whatever the case may be, the financial benefits with NIL. Stop tweeting at them. And I'm especially talking about people in the Indiana University fan crowd. And one particular account and podcast in particular, if you are familiar at all with the Indiana sports landscape, you know exactly what I'm talking about and who I'm talking about. Not going to mention this particular brand by name because they don't deserve it. I don't believe people should be listening to that podcast, but I'll get to them in a little bit. Um, and I know it's not just with Indiana. I know it's just not with the Big Ten. It's everywhere. It's in most every popular sport, especially with football and basketball. It really pisses me off to see people who are fully grown adults, who are fans of a particular program tweet especially mean things, tweet harassing recruits online with tweets um, calling them out or just annoying them to the extent of, yeah, it being harassment. You're a fully grown man. Knock that shit off. Seriously. Oh my God. It enrages me to no end to see these accounts still be celebrated by some people, and I'm not meaning any ill will or hatred toward anyone who does end up listening to that podcast, but it pisses me off to know that these people still have a voice in the IU media field. It is so so stupid and a travesty that these people have a voice. This popular of a voice too, because not only have they tweeted at recruits, they have swayed more of their attention toward the men's basketball team, which is, I mean, fine. You can have a podcast about the men's team. I certainly talk about men's basketball more than I do women's basketball. I still talk about it, but to conflate college basketball as only the men's side, which they have done, um, you're asking for trouble, and people have rightfully called them out on it. And but they still have not learned a lesson when it comes to when to keep your mouth shut, when to kind of step back from meddling in the sports media landscape, especially for your school that you are a fan of. And what I'm seeing recently from the behavior of this account from these people who are, um, I'm just gonna call them like they are. They're grifters. They are only they are self-serving in their own image to prop themselves up to help drive a narrative to be a spearheading force for change, which in this case in particular means, hey, let's get Mike Woodson out of here. We don't like him. We did an interview with him. We got access to this head coach, and we're gonna use that to say, oh, it didn't go so well. It didn't go so well. And I'm a fully grown man trying to. Uh, oh my gosh. Okay, so these fools are. It's propaganda what these people are doing. And I know it's not just this particular account. I know it's not this particular podcast, is only this particular podcast, but to keep spearheading the anti Mike Woodson bias, whether or not you agree with that or not, I certainly have my issues with Mike Winston. Hell, I said that if this season, if Indiana men's basketball doesn't recover, then it could spell doom for Mike Woodson, and he could very well be on his way out. I'm not advocating for that. I'm just saying I want to be optimistic about this season so Mike Woodson can continue coaching this team. He is the head coach. And when you are trying to blatantly drive a wrench into the media harassment campaign that you all are trying to drive against Mike Woodson by getting former players and and have an own interview with the head coach of Indiana men's basketball, and you're saying it didn't go so well. I think Mike Woodson should be fired, and then I we got this former player on our podcast, and this is what he's saying. Shut up. God, it makes me so fucking angry that these people have a voice. They are only self serving for their own podcast. Okay? They are only self serving for themselves. They do not care about the state of Indiana men's basketball as long as they get a profit out of it. If they could be a fan of any other school, they would. And it's a shame that this account has as many fans as they do. Nearly 20,000 people are following them, and they have influence over this fan base. They do. A lot of people do not like them, which I like. And I like it whenever they're called out. But the fact that they are still showing up on my timeline at all, despite me having them muted, is a travesty. And I know it's not just them, and many other fan bases have this problem too. But they are some of the biggest violators in this rule that I think should be a just common courtesy, common sense to not put yourself, not put your own podcast, not putting your grift in the forefront of this athletic program, to not tweet at recruits, to not conflate um, college basketball with just the men's team. What are you doing? What are you even doing? So that that is my rant for the evening. I just needed to get that off my chest and vent because it is really starting to piss me off what these people are doing. These people are gross. And I just and maybe there's a chance for some sort of redemption if they don't do this. And um but I'm not holding my breath on that because these people are shameless as it currently stands, and I don't see it improving. But you can always hope for something that has as much influence. But until that point, they're not going to change. And it is really fitting that their podcast initials are the same initials as a noted uh, Nazi Germany slogan. So good on you. Good on you all. All right. That's going to be it today, and just have a good rest of your night. Just needed to say that really quickly, and here you go. That was the second bonus episode. Glad my vocal cords are stretched to the max here. So have a good night, everyone.